Things were raunchy but serious.
Oh, well, that looks interesting. I'll click on that.
Yes, exactly.
Which everyone is going to want to do.
Right. Yes. I'm Zoe Zen.
I'm Stacy. And
this is
We've talked about this.
And when I told her that it was the context of an officiant and therapist, she's like, oh my gosh, that's great. I didn't even think about that. And the fact that you guys have been friends for so long.
Being the age we are, like, we lived through some shit.
Right.
We've seen some shit.
I'm not going to tell you my age. Don't tell anyone my age. People can try to figure it out, but I don't want to.
We're both the same age.
I know we're the same age, but it's not going to be said, okay?
We don't have to talk about that. But
and I have a problem with the term middle-aged.
Oh.
It just sounds wrong or like that. I know where it comes from. It's because youth is sensationalized.
Well-aged.
I'm like a fine wine, and I'm getting finer.
I'm like a piece of meat that's been sitting on the counter.
I just pictured you in this like cold, stale environment, drying out.
Aged beef.
That's Stacy, and I'm
dried hack of pork.
Oh my god, tasty. Let's talk about why I'm dressed like this. If you head on over to my channel, Zoe Zen, on YouTube, I love Hanfu. It's Chinese traditional dress. My plan is to slowly build up my wardrobe as I get money, because these things are expensive. And it's just a fun way to dress, and it's a fun way to put on makeup and not feel my age necessarily, and to have fun, right? Yeah. I just want to have fun. That's why I'm dressed like this. Why are you dressed like this?
This is my typical wardrobe. I pretty much live in a t-shirt and jeans.
Nice.
I do a lot of art and craft at my house.
Yes.
And there's not really any reason for me to, business casual anymore.
Right.
Which is really nice.
It is really nice. You hear in my voice how irritating.
Holy shit!
Oh, good catch.
We've been friends since the 6th grade. We were 11 years old when we met.
God.
And we were in the same class.
I had a major crush on her for the longest time. The longest time.
I was obviously oblivious to that.
Yeah. I don't know how she could, because I gave her roses.
Yeah, you did. Like a dozen red roses. And
oh my god. And like, I wasn't allowed to even admit it to myself that I was crushing on her, because I was so Jesusified. I was raised fundamentalist, Pentecostal Christian. So loving someone of the same sex was just a sin, and I was gross.
Well, so here's the thing. Not to give away your age, but my age, we grew up in the 80s.
We did. And I missed out on all the great music because I wasn't allowed to listen to that stuff because it was secular.
But what the point I'm going to make is that we were not old enough in the 80s to really be aware of what was going on, and all of the Reagan years. And I don't know, we grew up in a small town, and we didn't have examples of what does it mean to be gay? What does it mean for somebody to be gay or lesbian or bisexual? And I think, how would we ever have identified that in ourselves? I grew up confused. I thought for a long time, I mean, I was very young, I thought I should have been born a boy. And then I thought, well, maybe I'm a girl, but I'm also part boy. And then I found myself attracted to both boys and girls, and that was confusing. And I thought, maybe all girls are kind of attracted to girls, and maybe that's just the normal thing. And girls marry boys, and boys like girls, and if girls look at other girls' boobs, it must just be what everyone does. And I honestly thought that. I believed through my teenage years, when I had crushes on girls, I thought that all girls kind of just liked girls, and that was just sort of an unspoken thing. And it's funny because you had a crush on me and I had no idea, because I'm really sorry, I didn't have a crush on you back.
No, I understood that.
Right. Right. But we still managed to be friends.
Can you
And
imagine
were
if you did
so possessive?
Holy cow. If you did crush back, oh, that would have been so weird.
I mean, all those times we had sleepovers.
Oh my
and
God.
Nobody would have.
Here's the thing. Can I cut in?
Yes.
Well, you're thinking that girls just like girls. I thought I was the opposite, that I was an alien, that like that no girl ever looked at other girls like that.
Oh.
And the thing was, is like, I mean, like, and it wasn't just me attracted. I'm not, I mean, I like breasts, but I mean, like, I was queer out of the womb. And I say queer because for the most part, I am bi. You know, I enjoy men and women. But like, I remember all the babysitters that my mom got. We did have a couple of guy babysitters, and they were fun. They were good babysitters. They were fun. But like, I was so drawn to our female babysitters because women, they smelled better. They were softer. They had beautiful hair, and you just want to be in their embrace. I mean, I'm like, yes, right? Yeah. I didn't want my own mom to hold me, but the babysitters, please. I still remember my favorite, prettiest one. Her name was Denise. My God, she was gorgeous. She's probably like 13. I don't know. Anyway.
Right. You're thinking like, okay, if
maybe
I was
17,
7.
I don't know. Yeah. But yeah. So like, and then, but like, what I thought was kind of confirmed, because when I then started to kind of like put feelers out, I got rejected. Like, and putting feelers out meant like having to flirt in the most subtlest way.
Okay, but what age are you talking about?
I'm talking like 20s.
Okay, you're talking about when you actually came out and started trying to date.
Right. Yes.
I see. Yeah. Yes, of course. I think even then, that was not easy.
No. And I got people walked away. Women realized what was going on, and they're like, I don't know. They got scared. They all walked away.
Well,
literally, they realized what was going on, and they literally walked away.
I think I'm attracted to people's personalities, and then I also, what do you call that? Demisexual.
Yeah.
I think that's probably what I would say. But
explain for the audience what demisexual is.
So yeah, if you don't know, it's I'm attracted to people once I get to know them. So I don't necessarily like immediately have interest in somebody. So that makes it hard to date, because I'll go out on a first date with somebody and kind of be like, I think I might need to try this again before I really know if I'm going to like you.
I usually know within the first 10 seconds.
Really?
I do. And that's bad too, because if I literally just after, you know, if I met you at a restaurant and you're already there and you stand up from the table and Zoe, I'd be like, Mark, Becky, like in the shake of the hand and the sitting down, usually before the next words come out, I'll know. And if I don't feel it, the rest of the day is just kind of not horrendous, but kind of psychologically painful, because I already know. I don't know if you know, and then you're trying me on and thinking it might be going somewhere, and already I'm thinking like, well,
like maybe it should just be okay to walk away at that point.
No, that would totally hurt the person's feelings. My God, can you imagine?
Let's role play. Hi, I'm Stacy.
Hi, Stacy.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. See, already I know if I were to meet you, I'd sit down and have the date. It's going to be good.
You ready for dinner? And then if you didn't, you'd be like,
All right, no,
I gotta go to the bathroom.
No, see, I wouldn't do that. All right, okay. All right, try again.
Okay. Hi, how are ya?
Hi.
Good to meet ya.
Good to meet you.
You got nice hair. Good, nice smile.
It was lovely meeting you. I don't think this is going to work out.
I like your teeth.
I would be that honest. You know, like the person would be like, what? You know, like if you were like that, I think you would know immediately why I'm walking away. Oh God. Be normal. Be normal. Okay. All right. Okay. Hey, I'm Zoe.
Oh my gosh, hi.
Hi.
I'm Stacy.
Hi, Stacy.
Almost forgot my name.
Hi.
It's really nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. I know this is weird, but I'm not feeling it, so I'm gonna go. I'm sorry to bring you all the way. I can say I just wanted to be upfront with you, but
That's so fast.
yeah.
How do you know? Are you sure you don't want to give me a chance and like have a drink? Maybe after a drink you'll feel like you like me?
And now I feel coerced.
Please, please don't leave.
See? So it's better just to keep
I'm on a date with you.
Oh my God. let's fucking talk about
Oh my
that.
God. So I did have a date with a guy once who we went to a place and like he was like, I'm a whiskey connoisseur, and he ordered the flight of whiskey and then he was rude to the waitress.
Oh God.
And I was just like, all right, well, you know what? It was after, I mean, I wanted to eat. Like, I'm food oriented. So, like, let's just eat. I'll let you pay if you offer. I don't think he did. I don't know. That doesn't matter. But I was like, yeah, I don't see this happening again.
At what point did you want to leave?
I mean, when somebody is rude to the waitress or is arrogant about something or like wants to mansplain whiskey to me.
Oh God. Right.
I was like, no, this was a mistake, but I'm really good at sex.
Okay.
Do you want to give me a chance? Because I'll show you I'm really good at sex.
As long as you understand there's not going to be a relationship.
I've used people for sex. This was one I just couldn't even bring myself to do it.
Is it using?
Well,
if you let them know that like this is just going to be a hookup?
I've told people before, we're just having sex here. Like, as long as you're okay with me using you for sex.
But it's not using. It gives it a bad connotation.
Okay.
As long as you understand that this is just one night of pleasure.
I don't know. I feel like that is really honest, and it's language somebody can understand.
Yeah.
I don't see this going anywhere, but I need to get laid. So
what if they're bad at it?
A lot of people are.
Oh, God.
A lot of people are.
Ugh.
And that's, it's through experience that we become better. And I think that we have to be honest when those things happen. Yeah. Like when you're naked and you're having sex with a stranger, you're at a pretty vulnerable place.
Yeah.
So it makes it difficult to critique in the moment.
It does.
But,
I think you're right. I do think you don't know this person. You don't know how they're going to respond to direction. What if they don't like being told what to do and they think they're fantastic in bed already? So then you've made the situation even worse.
Arrogance.
Or they feel inadequate and then they feel instantly vulnerable and then they can't perform.
Yeah. And I mean,
so like if the hookup is going to happen like with the same person, if it turns into like, what's the word I'm looking for? Your fuck buddy.
Yeah. Casual.
Yeah. Then I think on the second take, direction.
Yeah.
One must be open to direction.
You're getting to know each other and you like them as a person.
Right.
You develop a friendship as well. And I think maybe some people mistake
sexual chemistry for friendship.
They mistake sexual chemistry for the making of a long-term relationship.
Oh, that's a leap.
I mean, I think sometimes people get into a long-term relationship based on that, and then they're really not compatible.
Mm.
And I mean, you've probably interacted with couples who are getting therapy, and they're constantly compromising who they are in order to just sort of live together.
Yeah.
And at some point you have to say it's not worth it.
Mm-mm.
It's not worth sacrificing who you are.
No. Mm-mm. That's a cage.
Hi, buddy.
Should we pause the recording? Keep it going.
I feel shame.
You feel shame? Why do you feel shame? I feel shame that I need to be drunk. Because right now I just feel complainy. Dude, so you know how you were telling me that you're just all feeling sad and not good, and then you got your period. I don't know if you notice if your symptoms, your PMS symptoms are changing, premenstrual symptoms.
Oh,
but
yeah, as menopause slowly encroaches.
I don't want to believe that menopause is coming. We're not that old.
Anyway, it's the first time. Okay, so all of my period life, I haven't really had PMS, and at most maybe I had some back pain. But ever since I was 40, and since
the number,
I know, like it's gotten more regular, and PMS symptoms have actually been happening. But I feel like it's weird. I feel like I'm regressing to a teenager and how I should have felt as a teenager with the period, because with this last cycle, 3 weeks before, so 1 week after I had it, 3 weeks before, I was so pouty on like 2 particular days that I'm just so annoyed. I just want to pout and stomp my feet and be like, this sucks and I don't want to do anything and I'm done being a therapist. People are dumb.
oh,
And I go upstairs and I want to be upstairs and I want to be down here and I want to eat something, but I'm not hungry for anything. It was so dumb.
well, you weren't allowed to experience that outwardly when you were a teenager because
No, but I didn't even feel that though. I didn't even feel that as a teenager. This is the first time I've ever felt
interesting
like that. Just crossed arms and just pouty. It was so dumb. And I couldn't shake it. I was not good company for anyone. Not that I socialize that much, but
that's interesting. I've got to say, like, I've had a resurgence of like uncomfortable premenstrual syndrome just in the past year.
Yeah. Okay.
And I don't like it.
Oh, yeah.
You know, go through having kids and being on birth control. And after a while I was like, I'm done with all of that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm done having kids.
Right.
And I shouldn't have to be on some sort of birth control
right.
my whole childbearing life. And I just decided I'm going to see what my body actually does naturally on its own. And
okay.
While I appreciate that I have a natural body cycle,
yes.
and you know, there are ups and downs. That's normal. I don't want to be bloated and crampy and feeling shitty. And fuck that.
Yeah. I mean, I've actually been married. Not in the way they wanted me to get married. I got gay married. Stacy married me. Stacy was the officiant of my gay ass wedding.
Yes.
And I am not married anymore. BTW.
Yeah. I don't think at that time we were quite as like brutally honest about that relationship. I think you entered that with these ideals.
Okay. If my ex ever watches this, this is not anything I've ever said to her. But she was not my usual type. She wasn't someone that I would normally date.
Mm.
And I felt I was getting to a point in my life where it was time to settle down. I didn't want to date anymore. This sounds so cruel, but I don't mean it to be. I didn't have the butterflies ever.
Oh.
But all the times before, I had the butterflies. But all those times before didn't last.
Yeah.
So maybe I thought I was choosing practically.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not what broke us up.
Yeah.
A plethora of things that don't need to be discussed here.
Okay. I was going to ask, but that's not
Oh.
something you need to.
Well, no, because
into.
it would
Yeah.
just kind of be like this smear campaign, which I
Right.
don't want to do.
That actually brings up a good point, is that, I never want to hurt anybody.
Yeah.
And there's some things that we can talk about in a kind of anonymous way. And I might, if anybody, that knows me watches this, they may find themselves being identified
Right.
In some way that maybe only they would recognize.
Mhm.
And I think that's okay, because your story, it belongs to you.
Yeah.
But also, I think there are sensitive ways to discuss topics and people in our experience that is respectful
Yes.
to them
Right.
and preserves privacy.
If anything, I could bring it up in a way of how we were incompatible and the lessons learned.
Because those are some universal things.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Not wanting to have children or finding out. So sometimes people don't know and they get married, they're young, and at some point they're like, okay, you know what? I actually don't want to have kids.
Mhm.
And that is a huge issue. And one that sometimes I think maybe people don't talk about enough before they go ahead and get
don't.
married.
You know what they also don't talk about? Maybe they might be on the same page of having kids. Of course we want to have kids, but then no one goes beyond that. Literally. I don't want to say no one, that's overgeneralization, but then they don't talk about parenting styles and how they're going to co-parent together. And to what degree is religion involved, spirituality is involved, how discipline and consequences is going to be involved. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I wish.
Yep, there are so many things. And honestly, you can look at how you were parented, and that may play a role, but I think I found myself doing some opposite things of what
Right.
I thought my parents did.
Right.
And then also found myself saying things that I heard my mom say when I was younger, and then thinking, oh no, I didn't want to go in that direction. And there's so many things that we absorb from when we're younger that will just pop out of your mouth without having ever thought about it, because you're in an intensely
Right.
emotional situation.
Yes.
And your kid is screaming
Yes.
naked in the grocery store. And,
Would that actually happen to you?
I don't know. My kids were insane.
They're not anymore.
No, they're perfect.
They are.
Perfect little miniature adults.
With Stacy's first pregnancy, I kept touching her belly and looking at her dead in the eye, going, "Are you ready?
Yeah.
She actually had to tell me to stop, because I don't think people realize your life is not your own. The moment you pop out that kid, your life is not your own anymore.
No, and it does change things, but it takes a while. It takes a little while for it to sink in and for those changes to happen. And then one day you find yourself the parent of a toddler, and you think, when was the last time I had any time to myself?
Exactly. When's the last time I took a shit by myself?
Right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
When's the last time I was able to take a shower and just think about whatever the hell I wanted to think about,
Yeah.
and then wonder if my kid is still alive?
Right. Yeah.
Hi. I'm a therapist of 20 years, licensed professional counselor. And that's it. That's all I'll say. I've practiced. I am a practicing therapist of 20 years, and I have a lot of experience, and my professional opinion matters.
Yeah. I am an atheist wedding officiant, and I've been practicing for 20 years. So I've married just hundreds, maybe thousands of people by this point. I at least got to see people when they were at their most happy.
You know, you guys, if you have an inkling of gay in you, you can come talk to me. You should know that by now.
And now we start our segment where we discuss the gay agenda.
Oh, yes. We need to take over the world. Happy International Women's Day. Women need to take over the world.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Men, you've had your time and you've royally fucked up, okay? Just
yeah.
Relinquish control.
I think if we all just look at the situation that we're all in collectively, we can honestly say they gave it a really good long try.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep.
A really long try.
And it's not to say that if like women were in all seats of power that we'd all get along and it would be, you know, peaches and cream and daisies and daffodils. But we're not as impulsive, and we're not measuring our dicks. And I mean, some do, but
I think our general instinct isn't to assert ourselves using an army.
Yeah.
Or to say like, well, we're stronger than you, and we have more bombs. So,
dude, can you imagine if women were in power all over the place? We would just go and meet each other, this world leader over here for lunch.
I know.
And have something solved over bottomless mimosas.
or just,
and all of that money that's spent on the military. Okay, I know I'm being utopic here, but geez.
Seriously, if we didn't collectively put so many resources, and I don't just mean money, I mean natural resources of our finite planet into killing each other, into war and the machines of war and all of the products necessary, we could just take care of each other. We could have homes for everyone, food for everyone, education, like really good education.
But can you imagine what a different morning it would be for everyone if everyone was able to wake up never having to be concerned about, is it safe to sleep here? Will I have clean drinking water?
Yeah.
I will never starve. There's plenty of food to eat. And just knowing that if we all had shared resources, like if people wanted to learn, they'll go learn. If people don't, if people want to just wander the earth. Like, but like, just those basic needs: safe housing, clean water, food to eat,
sanitary conditions, places to poop. We don't even provide that to everyone.
That's so true. That's so true.
And then we penalize people for urinating in public when there's literally no other option.
Yeah. Right? Where are they going to go? Oh my God.
We could definitely go on and on about this. Well, I feel like maybe we could wrap it up, at least for now.
Yeah. How would we wrap it up? Well, that's it.
Well, we've talked about this.
Did you learn anything? Let us know in the comments below. Like and subscribe.
Yeah, it would be really helpful if you liked this. And just in case,
are we going to post any of this?
I don't know. Well, this has been fun.
Indeed.
This has been fun.
The end.
That's it. Take care. Bye, friends. See you later.